Hello, my name is Aaron Cavanagh and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of Postburnout.com. Postburnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. This is our website's podcast where we publish full-length recordings of our interviews, which are sometimes the unedited versions of our site's articles and at other times are exclusives. If you're a returning listener, thank you for coming back, and if this is your first time listening, thank you for checking us out. We hope you enjoy and consider subscribing, giving the episodes a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, or giving it a rating if you're anywhere else. It really helps us out. Thank you. In this edition of Postburnout.com interviews, Michael Smyth returns to talk about his latest shoegaze project, Silk. How the project was born out of his fear of mortality, completing their debut track Faze in 6 weeks to coincide with his 40th birthday, their latest single But Then Yes, getting picture postcards AJ Das to collaborate on the track, and much more. Silk will play their debut gig on the 25th when they sport Alpha Twin at the Deer's Head, Belfast. That gig also features Picture Postcard and Sheila as support. Silk will also perform at the Gaze Fest Belfast in the OEM Music Centre on August 30th. Links to tickets and details for both of those shows are available in the description of this episode. I also wish to apologise for the abrupt ending of this episode, as I asked Michael a question which he couldn't speak about on the record, so we went for another hour without recording. Thank you and enjoy.
Well, man, how are you?
How's it going, Michael? You alright?
Good, good. Straight in recording from the start there, Aaron.
Yeah, no, I got it kind of important. Actually, I did once lose a recording because what happened was I was a bit frazzled. I was like trying to get, I think the person was a little late, and I was trying to contact the PR to see what the story was.
All right, right.
And during that, they joined, so I just kind of forgot to hit record. So, you got to
Fuck.
learn from your mistakes.
That's it.
How's
How are
how's
you?
everything been for you since the last time? It's only been a couple of months actually when versions when we spoke for versions latest release. So
Yeah, good. Um, just busy, man. Like time just fucking disappears, you know? Even
yeah,
like
dude, I've been noticing that too. It just feels like there's not enough hours in the day.
it's wild because like when were we down in Dublin? Like that was it April, start of May or something?
I don't know. I don't even remember
Yeah,
myself.
I know, dude. Like
I
that
think it
was it.
was. I think it was the start of May because, and the reason I
Yeah.
know that was because I ended up plugging that blowtorch showcase for three different articles I was doing.
Mm.
So I think I have it in my memory that was May 1st. So yeah, it would have been
Yeah,
May
it was.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That feels like a year ago.
yeah.
So yeah, just fucking flat out busy. Uh, I love how I'm just coming up as my work payroll number as well.
I won't
Feels
share that with
very
anyone. So yeah, I was a
feels
bit. I
very
was.
like 1984 kind of thing, doesn't it?
We're all being sucked into the corporate machine, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, dude, let's talk Silk then. This is
sure.
your latest project. I know it actually with Virgins, it started off as a solo project and then kind of expanded and brought new people into the fold. Is that kind of the same with Silk?
Uh, yeah, whenever like guess I'm kind of taking this same approach in a way. Like Virgins was always meant to be like me plus a singer and then whoever else. And then I tried that. It didn't really work. And then that's kind of when everybody left the first time. And then like I got new people in and then and then I was like, we're a band, we're going to be a band. And then some people left and we're on like what third lineup now or something. Yeah, loads of it's fucking. So it was meant to. My approach was like it'll be like 9 Inch Nails, like a revolving door kind of thing. But obviously then because I wasn't doing vocals, I needed like a permanent kind of singer too. So with this, then it like honestly, man, it started the whole like phase and the song, but then yes, like I just recorded those. I recorded those just before Christmas last year, and I was like, I'll just record these and I'll try and teach myself like how to mix better and just get better at all that. And then things progress and get away from me, and I'm like, oh well, I should put this out,
Yeah.
and like that's kind of what happened. And then um I was like, we'll just do like a recording project and like it'll just be able to kind of do it at my own pace. And because I do all this stuff, I can like be as prolific or not as I want. And then as soon as I put it out, I was like, oh, like we should play shows though. And like, cause it's like, that's just, it always happens that like, I'm just like, I just want to do the next thing. And, um, So now here we are, and it's second single, and we're about to go do some shows. So yeah, yeah,
Well,
here we go again.
I'll make sure to plug those before we end, but let's just go back a little bit. So, what's interesting is like, this is a shoegaze project too. Virgin's obviously shoegaze project, but like tonally, they're so different. I think actually I think the last time we talked, actually talked about the versatility of shoegaze as a genre, and definitely these songs. I think, am I correct in saying that part of this project was kind of sparked by your own fear of mortality?
Yeah, absolutely. Like which is such an odd thing to be driven by, but like I'm 40 now. I turned 40 in January, and I'm just kind of like there is part of me that's like, how long can I reasonably like do this for? Like, how long can my body keep allowing me to do this? And like, how long does life allow me to do it? And all these different things. And like, I mean, I've been like three bands now, and but I write all the time, and I write lots of different stuff, and like, there's some really poppy stuff comes out, and like, but obviously this like this shoegazy stuff is like where I kind of focus most of my energy on, and there's a lot of stuff that comes out that it doesn't fit into one box. So I was like, well, I want to like, and I really like the kind of heavier end of it too, and like, I mean, always like it's pretty much impossible to talk about one without talking about the other, but like obviously like in Virgins it's a lot poppier, and it isn't necessarily like, we kind of like back away from some of the more kind of like tropes of shoegaze, like the buried vocals, and like obviously there's a lot of pop in shoegaze across the board. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of pop in like Loveless. Like, if you listen to that record, it's all in there. Whereas with this, like, and I mean, it's in me too. Like, I love all that stuff, but with this, I wanted to definitely like swing towards the heavier kind of end of things, and um yeah, but like, I mean, one of my favorite films is Blade Runner, and that whole thing is just driven by more life. I want more, and like, I'm not at the point where I'm going to cryogenically freeze myself or anything. Just me
Only because this
grasping
technology's not available
yeah,
yet.
well, that's it, man. Like, just me grasping a fuzz pedal and a fucking jag. Uh, but yeah, it was just like like what I guess it's the same kind of drive that made me do like the promotions company and the booking aids and stuff and all that kind of shit. Because I'm like, who's stopping me? Like, like the only person that's in my way is me. So like, why not just do the thing? And that sounds completely fine in principle until you have to start paying for it all yourself. And then,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, that's something that I'm willing to do that as much as possible. But yeah, I'm just like, why not do it? If I have something to say and the songs are come out okay, and like I think they're good and I'm happy with them, then why not just do the thing? And if I put them out and people don't like it, well, no, I'm not losing anything, man. It's just like you just put it out and see what happens. And if people gravitate towards it, which seemingly so far they seem to like, I mean, I would say the reception for Faze was far, far, far exceeded my expectation. Like Shoegaze blog said it's one of their like top songs released in like this year, and like got all these like kind of different high five accolades kind of thing. And like, I mean, I know myself, I'm not the best singer, so I was like, there's a lot of trepidation like putting that out. It's because I mean, I can play all the other stuff all day, and be like, I know I'm not like virtuoso, more like virtuoso, but like I can do the stuff, whereas like
Yeah.
vocals, I'm really like it's a lot of work for me to get to a point where I I don't aim for I'm happy with it. I just aim for I don't hate it. And so like just to kind of get past myself with that and be like, okay, like I can kind of do this enough that where I think it's like it's listenable and people won't like make fun of me for it or whatever, and so like all that is just kind of like the drive for it, like just like write the song, record it, do the thing, put it out. And like I kind of feel like if you're doing it with like honest intent behind it and the right reasons, like people will gravitate towards it who want to gravitate towards it, and like because it's slightly more niche even within that niche genre in and of itself. Like, it's not for everybody and it's not meant to be for everybody, but if people are into it, cool, and if they're not, then I have three other bands that I can listen
Maybe
to.
you
So
like one of them.
yeah, it's like there was a Ramones quote, and they're like, if you don't like this song, you'll maybe like the next four songs, and it will only take 4 minutes to listen to all four of those songs. So yeah,
Yeah, but the problem with the Ramones is that all the songs sound the same.
that's all the
Actually,
fucking same.
well, actually, I have to say, I think the Ramones. It's funny because like the first four records, yeah, very similar. I think they started getting a big. I can't remember the titles these of the records now, but the one with the four of them on the cover and in front of the orange
Yeah,
background.
yeah, yeah,
From then
yeah, yeah,
on,
yeah.
then like even when you get to like Pet Cemetery and stuff like that, it's very different. Like it's a very different vibe, and even Bonzo got a Bitburg and all. They did start.
Mm,
I think people only listen to like the first three or four records, and they kind of like, oh, it's
yeah,
all sounds the same, which it does. But then, like,
yeah,
they did actually branch out a little bit towards the end, and I don't
yeah.
think people like ever really acknowledge that. Their last record has a fucking amazing song on it. That's probably one of my favorite songs of theirs. I don't think that's a great record overall, the Adios Amigos one, but there's a
Right.
song on there called "It's Not for Me to Know," and I think that's like one of the best songs they've ever
Okay,
written. I
cool.
really love that song. But anyway, sorry, not to get on a tangent about
No,
the
I'm like,
Ramones.
I'm gonna go listen to that because I've never heard that. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yes, it was the last record that came out, I think, in '96, and that's a fucking banger of a song.
Yeah.
It's really good. I want to say, not to diminish your achievements, but you mentioned that the shoegaze blog named it one of the best shoegaze songs of the year. I will just note that it did come out in January, so there probably wasn't a
It
lot to
did.
pick from.
To be fair, hold on now. Their list came out in May, though, Aaron.
All
So
right, fair enough.
I'm like, I'm 5 months behind me. Fuck's sake, dude.
I'm only being a dick.
No, I mean, like, yeah, it's nice when people say nice stuff, but I always like all that stuff you take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
It's like that's cool, but like, I mean, I'll do the thing I'm gonna do
Yeah.
regardless. So, but it's nice to get the recognition for it.
Yeah, I will say I occasionally write for I think you know the blog Excess Noise, Mark
Yep.
Miller's blog.
Yeah, yeah.
Um well, every year we do like the best of the year kind of thing,
Hmm.
and I like contribute stuff, and I'm always just like trying to, because they pulled them collectively, so it's like
Hmm.
the writers collective choices for best albums and stuff like that, and I'm always just
Yeah,
like racking my brain just with anxiety, just being like, fuck, what if I forget some, what if I'm like, it's like really
yeah.
difficult and stuff like that.
I mean, I even like as a like fan, like trying to collate albums of the year is just impossible. So I mean,
Yeah.
doing it in any kind of professional way, yeah, that's
At least they don't
yeah,
put your name to it. It's just like collectively, here's what the
yeah,
excess noise team thinks, and you go, okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, yeah,
And it's always interesting because like you always submit them blind, so you don't know what the other people are going to select,
oh
and
yeah,
then you're like, I wonder what the list is, and then like maybe one of your choices got in at some
yeah,
point and all
yeah, yeah.
that. Because I'm always trying to rep like the smaller artists a little bit too, because like
Mm,
I think that's really. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a bit of discourse because what's his name, Ed Sheeran. I'm not trying to be like, oh, Ed Sheeran, I don't remember, but I'm trying to remember what the criticism was. Ed Sheeran, I think, said, "What's the point of reviews? Because people can just listen to music for free." And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, the purpose of reviews, I think, is actually more. I think they serve two purposes. One is I think they're good documentations for the reception of an album over time.
hmm.
One of my favorite records ever is Spiderland, and it's just like it's amazing when you look back at
Lint.
the reviews that got at the time, and it's just very
I
ambivalent.
fucking hate Slint.
That's
I
fine, man.
I
That's
know,
fine.
man.
I talked to Rohan from Picture Postcard. He doesn't care for them either. I'm like, I fucking adore that album. I think it's
Like
amazing.
that, isn't there a song about like a pigeon or something on it? Like it's been
No,
honestly, I tried a bunch to listen to it. I'll like let you finish your point or whatever, but like I
yeah,
was
sure.
like, my friend just kept being like, it's really good, man, and like one seminal record, blah 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 blah. I was like, what's this fucking song about a pigeon or something? It's like some bird. I was like, fuck this. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, actually, I think you should. I think you should write your own blog where you just dismantle people's favorite records, just like very
Dude.
analytically. If you had the time, you probably do not have the time for that shit. But
Yeah,
if
my
you did
review would
actually
be,
sit down,
what
go
the
for this.
fuck is this pigeon song?
Imagine, those like 33 and third little books that come out about albums.
Yeah.
Just do that and just fucking dismantle the thing.
Fucking hell. Oh,
But
Jesus.
the point I'm saying is that like it has relevancy later to kind of like look back
Yeah.
on how an album was received at the time. But I also think for smaller artists, and obviously if you're Ed Sheeran, like a stadium, like stadium selling band, like or artist rather, it really doesn't matter because you're kind of like you could put out an album on Thursday. On Thursday you could announce I'm bringing out an album tomorrow, and like everyone would just scramble to get it. All the
Yeah.
record shops and stuff because they want to have Ed
Yep.
Sheeran, and
Yep.
but for the smaller artists who are trying to make it up, it's like it actually does give a lot of notoriety. I think that's the kind of purpose of these things. So
Mm,
when I'm doing my selection, I'm like, it's weird because I'm always trying like not to put what I think the Grammys are going to pick, and stuff like
yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
trying to go like, here's some other cool shit that you might have missed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like from my point of view with reviews is always like, and and a lot of the PR stuff is like sometimes it takes for someone else to say it's cool before
Yeah,
someone else goes, oh yeah, it's cool. And like I mean there's like a whole other side of things to like press quotes for your bio. And obviously
yeah,
then like that is I guess that's a better representation almost of that. So like if you're applying to some festival and say like that like excess noise says your fucking record's cool or like crying says your record's cool, you're gonna be ahead of someone who like, you know, it was in their family newsletter, five
yeah, sure.
stars, and so like I and like all those things, it matters from that end. I think Ed's maybe forgotten what it's like not to play stadiums there. It's like Beyonce can be like, my album's like tomorrow, and it's like that it will get exactly the same amount of attention as it did if, like I don't know, who would review a Beyonce album? Like
Like
Pitchfork? Are they
Fontana,
even still a
probably. Yeah.
thing? I don't know. I don't
A
know.
Pitchfork are still going. Yeah. Actually, the thing that pissed me off about Pitchfork, I thought was that I think it was Pitchfork who did this, but they went back on older reviews that
Mm,
people have said they got wrong at the time and just like did
yeah.
reviews. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of historical revisionism in a way when you kind of go like, oh, we had it right all along or something like that. But I also think it
Yeah.
discredits the original writer's opinion.
Look, I mean, I say to anybody, like a review is just one person's opinion,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
all. And if it's like what I was saying, like if they like it, high five, and if they don't, well, you know, who cares? Like
Yeah.
ultimately, like who really gives a shit? And it's like, when we put stuff out, or whenever I put stuff out, I use that submit hub thing and send it out to a bunch of places. And I always ask for the feedback just for the crack. And one guy's like, it's too melodic, and the other guy's like, it's not melodic enough. And like some girl could be like, oh, it's too heavy, and some other girl could be like, oh, it's not heavy enough. And you're just
Sure.
like, it's like fucking like it's just one person, and
Yeah.
you'll never be, doesn't matter who you are, you will never be for everybody. So
Yeah.
you just go, okay, cool,
I know there are
and
people in the world that
move
don't like
along.
Slint for fuck's sake.
I know, dude, what the fucking dicks.
But yeah, no, that's the thing though. It's like, but I think like the review aggregators like Any Decent Music or Metacritic and stuff like that. I think like at the end of the year, like you can go into categories, so you can go, what's the best punk records of the year, the best hip
Yeah,
hop records of the year, and
yeah.
stuff like that. That's just kind of good, I think, to kind of shine a light on some stuff you might miss. Like I discovered Snail Mail's Valentine through that before I got into music journalism, and I was like, I loved it. I was like, this
Hmm.
fucking a great record, and I wouldn't have discovered that if it wasn't just curiosity trying to find out what
Yeah,
people were saying, like what's the best records of the year. It's a very strange thing too, because you also want to have your own opinion too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm obviously in a bunch of like shoegaze groups and all that kind of stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and follow all these people, and like everybody at the end of the year, like, well, a lot of people are like, have you heard this? This is out now. This is like some shoegaze band from, well, there was this shoegaze band from Italy called Leaves, and they put a
Mhm.
record out at the start of the year. The vinyl is like, I think it's the prettiest one I've ever seen, and their record is amazing. And I wouldn't have heard from that other than someone else being like, setting up a flare about it, and at
Yeah,
the end of the year they all compile their records. And like, because there is so much like across, like, I mean, like Japanese shoegaze is massive. There's a big shoegaze scene in the Philippines, oddly enough, and
yeah,
you won't hear from about these bands in any other way. So having that kind of like um reference point or like library almost of it to be like, oh well, maybe this is cool, I'll go check it out. And then sometimes you listen to it and you're like, I that's a piece of shit. Sometimes you're like, I'm gonna buy all their merch, so
I also love this again, just a small tangent, but you mentioned like kind of in the Asian market, I love like how they take like sort of the Western releases of albums and localize them. It's just very
Mm,
fascinating, like the covers, like because like obviously it's not for aesthetic reasons, it's for practical reasons. They're changing it, they're adding Japanese characters so that people can
yeah.
understand what the record's about. But it's always
Mm,
just very fascinating. I also love because like I can't remember if it was Singapore or the Philippines. It was either Singapore or the Philippines that had like a pretty big bootlegging scene,
hmm.
because just records that were coming in through labels were too pricey.
Yeah.
So people had to kind of bootleg in order to kind of
Yeah.
get affordable music. And I just love like the weird little alterations they do. I
Yeah.
assume to get past copyright,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the problems. And it's always fascinating because it reminds me of. I remember there was this trend years ago of like people were putting up Polish movie posters because back in the day in
Yes.
the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
Poland used to have these
They're
really
amazing.
great, amazing looking movie posters for like Star Wars and
Yeah.
for
The Star
Ghostbusters and all the
Wars one,
big,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's like, it's all kind of like Soviet looking Darth
yes.
Vader, you know? He doesn't quite have like Lenin's mustache or anything, but like, yeah, I love all that too, man. The Star Wars one from that sticks out. And like, I love seeing the kind of Asian releases with, like you say, like, it's nearly like, you have like the English writing in front of or behind it.
Yeah,
And whenever I've designed a load of merch at the beginning and was just like, oh, like this just leans into like that kind of thing. And then I'm like, I just like it because it looks cool. But then it's like, you don't want to, is that like cultural appropriation kind of
true.
thing? And, but like to me, it's just like this, like nearly like subculture aesthetic,
Yeah,
and but yeah, I love it. Even like getting like movie posters, like there's a Lost in Translation Japanese movie poster, and it obviously just like it's set there, but it obviously lends itself to that like otherworldliness, kind of disconnected kind of feel to it. But yeah, I love all that too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Actually, that's interesting. I wonder if when Japanese audiences watch the Lost in Translation, do they get the kind of sense of isolation and sort of I don't know, being out of place,
Yeah.
or they just kind of go,
Yeah.
"What? That's totally normal. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?"
What are these white people doing on our screen?
I guess it's
I
like
wonder.
when you see like the Quiet Man or something like that, and it's like an American tourist coming home to Ireland, and it's like real
Yeah.
bucolic and real beautiful and all that. So it's like
Yeah.
I live near a bunch of fucking industrial estates, and
Yeah.
I do not recognize that. My area is
Yeah.
all grey and fucking
Yeah.
piss stained and graffitied.
Like it's funny, man, because I'm like when I do like videos or photos or anything around Belfast, I'm always like, oh, it's just like that's just like the end of my street, or like that's some bridge near me. And but then like I always think about like watching like say like a Deftones video and they're like cruising around LA, but like that's just the end of their fucking street.
Yeah.
It just looks way prettier than East Belfast or whatever. But I think it's like you have to like try and for that kind of stuff, like step outside of that, like, it may be mundane to you, but it's like
Yeah.
Salford's Lads Club, like that's it. They probably walk past that every fucking day of their lives. And then
Yeah.
like they put it on an album cover and now like everyone goes
It's full
there.
of Smiths fans.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
I
music
hate,
video too. What's it called? Stop Me If You Think You've Heard This Before. I think that was the one that featured it. And then everyone's just like,
uh,
oh, I need to go there all the time. Is that right
that's
again, sorry?
it. I also hate the Smiths.
Okay.
But I love Johnny Marr, and well, I got married in March, and I've my wedding ring has Johnny Marr's guitar string, and I
Oh,
think I
nice.
told you this whenever we were in and down in Dublin, and like some people I tell them are like, oh, it's really cool, and they're like other people just like they're like, I bet it's not fucking Johnny Marr's guitar string at all. It's just some dudes.
I wonder, yeah, like if there's a verification process you go through. You ever watch like Antiques Roadshow or something like that, and they're always just like, "Here's the verification process." I'm always like, I'm always a little dubious. I'm like, can you really clarify that, or are you just taking
Yeah,
an educated guess? And this looks like
I have.
this coin looks like it's from 16th century. Blah, blah, blah. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
if you
There
say
was
so.
there was a certificate came with my ring, so I'm taking it as like authentic. But if I ever meet him, I'll be like, "Do you recognize that man?"
You just keep it in your wallet all the time. Like, look.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's let's get back to Silk then. So you're mentioning
sure.
Faze came out. No, no, I'm having a good time, but it's just conscious and I'm like, am I losing the trail? I'm trying to get
That's
again.
fine.
That's my problem. It's like informality on my end.
That's all good.
with Faze, it came out January 31st, my birthday actually.
Man, that's
And
my birthday.
fuck off. That actually is my birthday. I
Is
turned
it actually?
31 this year. Yeah, it's in my life.
Dude, that's why I put it out on January 31st, because I was like, oh, that's why I'm like, I'm getting older. I want to do it. So I'm going to put it
Yeah.
on my birthday. That'll be really funny. And like the new single is coming out on my brother's birthday, because I was like, that will also be funny. So
So
yeah,
all the release patterns for Silk has to have someone's birthday in your life.
I guess now I'm in it. So yeah,
Could you release one
yeah.
on Christmas and be like, "Happy birthday, Jesus"?
Hey, Jesus. Oh, that's so funny, dude. No wonder we get on so well.
Yeah, but Aquarius is I don't understand astrology at all. Like, people
Either,
try to
dude.
talk to me about it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know how your brain is able to memorize all this stuff.
Yeah,
It's like math equations or something. I'm like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah. I'm not shitting on astrology before anyone comes at me. I'm just like, I
No,
don't get it.
no shade, no shade.
But when Phase came out, so how long had the song been written and kind of like the production, all that?
6 weeks from writing to release. Like that, it was kind of like this weird challenge. Then I kind of set myself. I was like, because I recorded like 4 songs to mess about with over Christmas, and then had that one kind of came together, and it was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. Maybe I'll just put some vocals on it, and like I'll just see if it can make that sound okay. And then, like I say, didn't hate what I did, and after many vocal takes, and because I really struggle with it. It's so difficult for me. And then I was like, okay, well, that sounds kind of cool. Maybe I should get it mastered just to see, like, because I am not like a engineer by like any stretch. I just own some mics and GarageBand, and um so like Joel Harkin from Belfast, he's iSound mastered it, and even that was like a learning curve, because I'd sent him it and he was like, "Man, like this is sent me this so loud," and I was like, "Well, I don't know, dude." Like, and he sent me this thing and like how to get ready for master, and so it's like I'm just learning, and I'm always trying to get better at stuff, and so he mastered it, and then I yeah, so I then like uploaded it and then went to our practice room and shot a video for it myself. Like I took the photo. I wanted to do everything like front to back. Like, obviously I can't do the mastering, but went to our practice room, built this wee like black room within our practice room. Had to like set up the tripod, hit record, go and play guitar, and then man, it's I don't know if you've seen the video for it. It's dumb because like I
Actually.
just go and like change my t-shirt and then put on a like guitar, and then for lead I put on a different guitar and a t-shirt, and then like I play the drums and I dress different, but it's like it's clearly all me, and I'm not trying to hide that, but I'm just like I was like, how do I do this? That like, is it because I really like truncated time to do everything, and like no money, and because it's January and everybody's broke, and I was like, so how do I do it that I can just do a thing and maybe it'll be okay? And I was just like, it's fine, and like I don't think it's anybody's favorite music video of all time, but it was just to have like from like I done the photos, it was done in my kitchen, like my now wife was out on her hen do with her friends. I was at home on my own. So I was like, take some photos of
That's a
myself in the
funny
kitchen
contrast.
looking, yeah, moody or whatever. And so like, and I done the artwork and I done all the shit. And it was like, so I've done it like front to back, like, way to go, high five me, put it on my birthday. That's really funny. And give it to you as a unknown birthday gift, also, it would seem. And so it's just like, that's cool, and so it was 6 weeks from like writing, mixing, recording, all that kind of stuff to release, and like that. So it kind of was like, um, I was like, I can do this like as quickly or as slowly as I want, and then like you know like uh Broncos went on tour, and then like I got married and went on honeymoon, and then like Virgins had stuff, but in the background it was like had that other song that I was like, this is pretty cool. I really like this. And so then it took up until I think it was maybe like 4 weeks ago, something like that, that I like put the vocals on it and got it somewhere I was kind of happy with. And then like it's like, well, the first one sounds okay, but I still I know I have limitations with the whole like the like production part of it. Like I can record stuff, but like I can only go so far. So then sent it to Johnny Woods because I was like, you know, he's my guy here. So, and he kind of made it sound the way it sounds, and then John mastered it. And yeah, it's like the 11th today, and I uploaded it to DistroKid like 3 days ago. So it like, I mean, from actual good to go to now again, it's a very, and like I finished the video for it today. So it's a similar, and like took the photos in against some wall over there the other day. And it's like, so it's the same kind of deal, but it's just there's slightly more people involved just to kind of like step up a little bit, you know. Like I really love Faze and it's cool, and I'm glad that I done it myself and it does a thing. But I just wanted it to be like, okay, well, like here's another part to that, you know. So yeah, and there's like I've a lot more written that I'm constantly working on in the background, trying to get it to that point where I'm like, okay, well, I don't hate the vocals, so maybe at some point that'll get put out or whatever, you know.
Well, going back to Face for a second. So when you had the idea that I'm going to release this on my 40th birthday, and which is obviously an immovable deadline, um, did you kind of were you able to sort of go like, okay, like I have 6 weeks, I can like I know I just have to put my focus on this and have it out by then. Did you find that easier then for creative process? Because I actually think sometimes having self-imposed deadlines is actually good for creativity because
Yeah,
I think if you have too much time, you can faff about too much and then just end up, just overwhelmed. And I think I've spoken to you this before. I've definitely said this to a bunch of
yeah,
artists, but I think the root of procrastination is often you have a grandiose idea in your head, but then human error comes in and you're like, shit, I don't know if I have the capability to get it to the level I want it to be.
yeah.
But when you have that kind of deadline, you're just focused on hitting it. It actually bypasses a lot of that, I find. I don't know if you agree.
I think I've almost the opposite problem in that I have so much that I want to do all the fucking time. So
Yeah.
like having a deadline, I was just like, that's fine, I can do that. You know, like I know like I know how to do all these things. I just now have to go and do them. And it was more fitting it in at the time amongst like trying to get ready to be married or whatever, you know, like certainly with um like the silk stuff that's unreleased because there isn't a deadline as such there. But I know that I want to have things in my head. I always have deadlines for stuff, you know. So I'm always working towards like this point so that I can get to the next point, so I can get to the next point, so I can get to the next point. So it's always like it's like it's I always talk like there's a lot of transferable skills from my day job to this. So it's like nearly like project management. So like I've like well, of this milestone and this milestone, this milestone, and I just like as much as I can, I keep to those points, you know. Um, but I think like that, I mean, those are self-imposed deadlines, you know, it's nobody else, but I just want to do it's just it's kind of what it all the impetus for is like I want to do these things. So the only way I can do them, get to where I want to be with it all is like if I just sit here and think about it, like, and I do have these big ideas for it, but unfortunately, budget mostly is the thing that stops me achieving that. But apart from that, like as long as I can keep doing the thing, and you know, it's time. You know, time is at the center. of All this, like finding that time to make sure, okay, well, I carve this out to do this, and this out to do this, and this out to do this. And because of so much going on now, especially oddly in a year where I was like, I'm going to pare stuff back, and now I've just ramped it up. Um, it's important to allocate time, you know, to these different things. Um, but yeah, I think like just me being like, well, I want to make sure that I have another single out for here so I can do this, and then I'll want something else out by here so that I can do this. But it's all like planned out in my head.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's also like it is a weird thing too, like where I don't know, once you get kind of competent at something, I think you kind of have that reliance to sort of be like, okay, it'll get done, you know. I think with
yeah.
the actual thing that you have to do is actually fucking do it, and
Actually, fucking do it.
that's the thing you have to kick yourself in the arse a little bit and go like, all right, like I have to do that. Do you find it easy to motivate yourself?
Yeah. Very. I mean, I don't know if that sounds poncy or not, or but I'm very like self-motivated and driven because I'm like it takes two hands for me to count all the things I do in music, you know, like around lots of different things. So I have to be like do the thing because this date's here, you know, and
Yeah.
like do this thing, and I have to like schedule stuff so far ahead so that it's like a rolling thing all the time. Um, this, I mean, this is kind of like a thing on its own where like the only person it relies on is me. You know, like I don't have to wait for kind of bar the live stuff, you know, which is kind of involving other people, but the drive to it, I don't have to ask like, oh, can we go record this? You know, I just do that, you know, and like I don't have to ask anyone if they like the song because I already like all my songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like all those kinds of things. But yeah, I want to do as much as I humanly possibly can while I can. So I just do those things, you know, like and um was it like Bukowski said, like find the thing that you love and let it kill you, you know. It's not killing me yet, it's making me deaf, but like I'm sure I'll get there.
Yeah, who needs perfect hearing in the afterlife, you know?
Ah, fuck it. Yeah.
And besides, like your hearing's gonna go with age anyway, so you might as well.
It is. I've had tinnitus for years, man, like years and
That shit
years. So
scares me.
it's
That like I'm really scared of that shit.
ah, that's fine.
Like, because I had a lecturer actually got it. Believe it or not, he claims that he got it from the bell ringing between
Oh
classes
yeah.
and shit like that. So
Yeah.
he had it really bad, and I remember if the room got quiet at any time, he would just go,
Mm,
"Can someone please talk?" or something. I was like, "Oh man, I'd
yeah.
hate that, especially
I
sleeping. I don't know how you sleep with it."
I've my left ear is pretty bad. But I've had it since I was like say like early 20s, you know, and
Yeah,
like I've been playing in band since I was 13. I used to have a drum kit in my room. We lived in a council terrace house, you know, and your hi-hats are right beside the wall, so where does that bounce back to, you know? And
yeah,
like yeah, I've tried wearing earplugs, I hated it. And like sometimes if we're out and there's a lot of people talking, like it can be a wee bit like I don't it's hard. But for the most part it's like it's fine. The sleeping thing, whenever I first got it, was a wee bit difficult, but it's like it's grinding. Like we can be sitting watching TV and I'll hear it, you know. And sometimes it does this sound where it goes,
yeah.
which that's weird. But and someone told me this as well, and I don't know if this is true, but they were like the frequency you're hearing, like off your I can hear it now, like the frequency you're hearing off your tinnitus, that is that frequency dying. So you will never be able to hear like, you know, below that again
Yeah.
or whatever. And like
Wow.
it's kind of scary, but there's also like a weird romanticism to that too.
It's kind of your
uh
battle scars for music.
yeah. And I was watching this Dave Grohl interview, and he was saying like his hearing's pretty bad, but he still mixes the records, you know, and he's like, my hearing's bad until like someone plays music, and then I can like zero in. And I mean, and oddly that is true. But like he also said, like I rely on people who looked after their hearing for, you know, 40, 50 years or whatever, and they hear things that I can't. And I mean, I know like whenever I work with professionals around that, like they can hear things that I can't. But sometimes I'm like, can you not hear that thing? Because
Yeah.
I can hear that thing, you know. But it's weird, yeah. But yeah, probably playing with like a million fuzz pedals doesn't help it at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
odd.
Going back to your music, it's funny because you mentioned, but then yes, and we kind of touched on sleeping there. I mean, my understanding is that with this song, it's sort of meant to touch upon, I guess, kind of, I don't know, it kind of phase between being asleep and being awake. I think I understand the kind of that level of consciousness, I guess, where, um, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I guess like maybe a good example would be something like people who have sleep paralysis. That'd be kind of a good indicator or something like that.
Yeah, so Faze was like the lyrics are like I don't sleep when you dream, you know, and it,
Yeah,
like my wife can fall asleep like that and she sleeps a lot, and
yeah,
then I'll just be lying there awake, and she's sitting beside me and she just heard me call me or call her my wife, and she's like, oh thanks.
yeah,
And um but I get sleep paralysis as well. Like I've had it like since I was like no age, and like really, really young. and sometimes it's really scary, especially whenever
Yeah.
you're young. And then like the mid period, I kind of got really used to it and was like, this is just funny, and like you can kind of like mess with it a wee bit, and then like in my like late 20s, it got really bad. Like it was like terrifying. Like, and but I don't really get it so much now. But there is that weird kind of. But the phase was written in the lyrics were written in my kitchen whenever I was watching the sun coming up because I couldn't sleep, and like that. It's really as simple as that, and um yeah, so but yeah, that kind, but I think that kind of woozy, kind of half awake, half dreamy, sleepy thing, that is a very kind of shoegazy kind of thing, and it lends itself all of that. I think that even like the production on Faze has that kind of feel to it, because it isn't as like studio, it kind of has like, I wouldn't say muddy, but it's maybe just like a bit kind of washier. Um, and then, but then, yes, is it's a different kind of thing then.
Actually, with versions, I know that like it feels very it feels kind of like more sun, like daylight, it has that
Yeah,
kind of vibe. And this is very much, this doesn't even feel like nighttime. This does feel like kind of dusk or something. It feels like really that kind of, I don't know, hours between, say, like 5 a.m. onwards, maybe 5 to
mm,
8 a.m., that kind of 3 hour time range.
yeah.
Where, yeah, I mean, there is light. It's not completely pitch black, but it's hazy and it's not. And I don't know, maybe it's also part of your emotional state when you're in that, like when you're out up at that time because it's so early. I think most people are kind of groggy and a little, I don't know, they don't have their full faculties
It
just yet.
it gets
Um,
weird. Yeah.
do you think that that kind of like time of day when you're reflecting, when you're trying to think of art, influences the music itself?
Yeah, like my favorite song ever is 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah.
and it's like the one of the lines is that like headlights pointed at the dawn, and like that. I think that pretty much encapsulates it. And like you're like, it's funny because I think of things in that way as well. Like the video, I just finished the video for But Then Yesterday, and it's like it's a clip video, and but it's nearly like a mood board of like what the song is, like what I'm trying to like put across, and there's so much of that is like, like clouds and like rain and like nature juxtaposed with like, very urban kind of stuff. And um I would say that the Silk stuff, like it's not like a like Friday nighttime kind of thing. It's like, wandering the streets when the sun's coming up, and but it's not a summer thing, it doesn't have that like uh light-hearted kind ofness to it. Like it's a bit kind of, I want to say gloomier. It's maybe just like a bit, the night's darker. Fuck, I
Yeah.
sound so emo, man. But yeah, like that's kind of how I feel about it, and like that song, the first song Phase, especially because it was written in that, and there's like this big line of trees I see out the window, and I like that's what I was just watching the sun come up through
Yeah.
that. So it definitely, like, all that feeds into it. And I would say that with the music, I don't want to like tell people what to feel or how to feel, but I would like to like evoke something, and I mean, like, if that's a positive or a negative thing in general, that either is fine. Or like if it just takes them to somewhere, because like I listen to stuff, and like it does that to me. And I mean, I think that's the ultimate objective of any kind of song or music. Like I'm doing like PR for this band Fragile Animals. They're an Australian shoegaze band. They're coming over. They're playing Dublin, Belfast. Their new EP's coming out. And I was writing the press release the other day, and there's this song. It's called Sending Flares. I think that's what it's called. And I listened to it because I was writing like the wee piece, and I was writing all this stuff and listening to it, and like knowing what they were thinking. And I was like, it just really got to me. It was just like, it just like, I'll send it to you. And but it's like, she talks about like her one of the people out of the band, they work in a recording or a radio station. They went in this like soundproof room, big studio. She sat on the floor holding her notebook, and like the microphone, closed her eyes and sang it. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, and it's like, all those kind of things. When you listen to it knowing that, like you hear that, when it kind of takes you into that room, like almost sitting in front of her, like cross leg, just having that sang at you. And like no one wants me singing that close to them, but like, yeah, I hope like
Doing ASMR.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like the new song is kind of like it's about like connection and like shifting from like like a platonic thing into like a romantic thing into something else. And like that can be like a slow shift, but like massive emotionally. So like hopefully that, you know, comes across in it, as well. So, but who knows? We'll see once it comes out. People might just be like, oh, that sounds cool.
Well, the song features AJ Das from Picture Postcard, and actually,
Oh
when I was at
yeah.
the Virgin's gig in Dublin, you guys were talking at the merch stand. Was this the project you were working on?
That's when I asked him to do it, man.
Yeah, okay. Really, so that is so quick. So it's literally just about a month ago, right?
Yeah.
Month and maybe 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I mentioned like vaguely at some stage it might be cool to do something. And then like right before kind of tour and all, like things started to pull together. I was like, oh, I've got the song, like you should do this. And then yeah, I was like, I think I can't remember when we were out. I think it was like honestly, it was like maybe 3 weeks ago. And I was like, I got it, like I'm ready. Sent it to him and he had it back in like 2 days. And then it was with Johnny Woods the next day, and it was things are do move very quick with this. So like I really don't understand how people like wait 3 years to release a song or something. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't work for me. But it's like I put AJ's old band on Fulvetta a bunch. I love them. They were fantastic, and unfortunately, that all kind of came to a weird end. But his new band, Picture Postcard, I put them on already. We played Broncos played with them in Dublin. You were at that, sure you were
I
at
was at
that,
that show. Yeah, that's actually
and
how I met them. Did I ever tell you the
yeah,
story of how I interviewed them?
no,
So I was at that show, the Broncos show, and I liked their band. Then next day I forget who I was seeing, but I was at Sinead in Dublin, and I was seeing a different act, and oh God, what were they called? They were a band. Anyway, they were a band from Limerick that has members of 50 foot tall woman. If you know that
right,
band, they're like a punk
no,
band. Now it wasn't that band playing; it was like just a band with some of the members. But anyway, someone had to tune their guitar at one point, right? And they were like trying to fill the time as the person was getting their string replaced.
yeah,
And they were like, "How about we just do like a rap battle?" And they brought someone on just to do an impromptu rap battle, and it was Rohan, right, from Picture
no
Postcard.
way,
And
really,
afterwards, I just saw them in the smoking area. I was saying to them, "Sorry, you guys in Picture Postcard?" And like, "Oh yeah, yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah, I saw you
yeah,
guys yesterday with Broncos." Like, and it was just
yeah,
a weird coincidence. I was just like,
cool,
"Oh yeah," and then we just got
yeah,
talking. It's like, if you ever want to do it, let me know. That's how I got
um,
talking to them.
yeah, they're so nice, and AJ is so lovely, and like I done PR for them and stuff, and I just love his voice and like all this.
Yeah,
Like we always joke, and I think I said this to at the show, like if we lived in the same city, our band would be so good,
yeah,
Like, but this is, and I always wanted to do something together, so this kind of gave an opportunity to do that. So I sent it to him, and I was like, I think you should sing here, sing whatever you want, let me know. And then he came back and he was like, I think I should sing here. I'll try it both ways. And then he kind of sent me stuff and I was like, yeah, your way's better. So like the vocals that come in at the end and it's kind of that bigger soaring thing. It's really cool what he done because it kind of there's a wee break and he kind of takes it there and then he kind of elevates it towards the end of the song. And yeah, it was great. I was like, that's perfect, man. That's amazing. So we're doing there. I'm putting them on in Belfast then, July 25th. That's our first show. So hopefully he'll come on and sing it with us then, and then there will hopefully be a Dublin show, and then hopefully we can do it in Dublin as well then. And um, but yeah, like he's just like so talented, and he does all their he records all their stuff, and
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, and
I think we were talking. You mentioned I forget which studio, but I think he's like interning at a studio now or something like that. I could be wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's right. But even whenever I'd sent him stuff. He was recording. I won't say who, just in case it's not out there.
yeah.
But he was recording like a known Dublin band's like new material, and
You too.
yeah, 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 yeah. Fontaine's new
Bono's a lovely
album.
guy. I don't know what to
Yeah,
tell you. I know people have the perception of him, but he's very nice.
he's
He brought
rich.
cupcakes for everyone in the studio.
Yeah, Yeah,
I
but
saw recently that he was on Joe Rogan. Like I've never in a million years listened to
uh
that fucking episode.
no, I say that he put out that whatever his like play thing was. It's just him
Yeah.
telling stories on Apple, and I was like, I just can't. Like, I've never been a fan, and but I just couldn't. I just couldn't. It's weird. Like my mom and dad are artists, and he owns a lot of my dad's artwork. You know, like
Oh
he,
really?
yeah. I was like, oh, so there was like, I was in some gallery down south, and Bono was in the gallery one day, and he doesn't do it himself, you know. So like he goes home to his fucking castle, and actual castle, by the way, and
Yeah.
sent his assistant to go buy load of artwork. So yeah, that's like my U2 story or whatever.
That's a connection. If you
Yeah,
two wanted to do press with Old Crows, would you be like, all right?
I charge them fucking a lot more.
I was just gonna say charge them the standard rate. They're like,
And, oh god, no, it's a sliding scale.
so actually with the new songs, like did AJ contribute the lyrics or did you have the lyrics for AJ?
I actually don't know what he's singing, to
Yeah.
be honest. I sent him what I was singing because I was like, this is kind of the idea. I've had it. Because I trust him, and like I know he understands where it all comes from, you know, and like we've played together a bunch, we've chatted a bunch, so he's into it. So I'm just like, I'm asking you to be on this for a reason. So you do what you think is right, whatever you think that feeds into. I think I've an idea what he's singing. It's kind of like that bit at the end of Lost in Translation where like he whispers to her, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm Bill Murray or he's Scarlett Johansson, who knows? But I'm definitely Bill Murray. But so
I didn't want to say anything.
but yeah, so it's kind of cool. And like I remember driving around in the van listening to it for the first time, and whenever it does hit like that big kind of end bit, I was like, fuck, like it is perfect, like, you know, because
Yeah.
even the demo he sent doesn't do like that, you know. It's kind of like an approximation of some of that, and then but yeah, he had it like back to me in like a day pretty much. Yeah, it was cool. It's nice to have like the involved people in that in the same scene, you know, because like that's what it kind of initially all goes back to, everybody playing in each other's bands and all that. And
Yeah.
so it's nice to have like bring your
The
friends
Irish
in.
music scene is very incestuous, and I mean that quite in a good
And
way. And no,
yeah,
it is like like it's kind of crazy to me because I know so many different artists who are just like, yeah, I play in like three different bands. I'm like, I don't even know how you get time to do one,
yeah, like we
yourself
were
included.
yeah, we're at Broncos practice last night, and talking about a bunch of stuff because Shane and Cameron from Broncos are playing in Silk with me, and it was just like, because you ask your friends, you ask people who you can be in a van with,
Yeah, of course, yeah,
essentially is my thing. And we were talking about, I was just like, well, we're doing this, and we're doing some other stuff that we're not talking about yet properly, but I was just like, we're just like, it's just like incest left, right, and fucking center, and like
it's
there's
Game of
bands.
Thrones.
Yeah, man, like the place that we practice is like there's like three practice rooms in the corridor, and it's pretty much like people just bouncing between practice rooms, you know. And but it's
Just
cool,
fucking.
and like
Sorry, Simon need a lead guitar? No, okay, good, yeah.
yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, it's like
Just like you would
even
like if you're popping down the shop. Does anyone want a Coke or something?
yeah. You just have one of those signs outside your room, like wanted lead guitar, and um, but
Actually, it might
yeah,
be a
even
good way for people who are looking for if you're not in the band, if you're not affiliated, just go to a practice studio and just kind of hang out in the lounge.
dude, there's a big like old mill up the road from where we practice that we used to practice in, and it's like 4 or 5 stories, and like I think the top two are mostly bands, you know.
Yeah,
You walk along there and you can hear, you're like, oh, that's that band and that's that band. But people do just put up posters in the lift being like, we need a drummer or
yeah.
whatever. Everybody always needs a fucking drummer.
It's
And
always a drummer. Yeah,
yeah, it's always a drummer. Like
it's like it
that's
reminds
how,
me of like Spinal Tap. The fucking drummers keep imploding.
dude. Yeah, pretty much,
I
pretty
wonder did Rob
much.
Reiner when he was making that film know how fucking true that statement was?
They did. They knew. It's like the I was joking with somebody the other day, and it's like the Fender amp I have. They're like they were talking about something. I was like, yeah, but my amp goes to 12, and they're like, not 11. But I'm like, no, but it actually goes to like the numbers on it are 12, and I was like, we're Fender just like hold my beer, you know? And like, it's really funny though. Yeah, but I can't turn it up above two. It's too loud, which is
Hmm.
annoying. I'd love to turn it up to 12. Yeah,
You just put turn it to, I don't know, like you would be tempted to. I think like there's always this temptation to go to the fucking highest settings. Like I don't know why. Like for every time, especially if you're like a new guitarist, like with electric material, with electric
yeah,
amps and shit like that, the temptation's always just I'm going to boost the fuck out of everything, and then you're like,
dude.
this sounds like shit.
Yeah.
I think
When
it
I
was
bought,
Dinosaur. I think it was Dinosaur Junior when they first began. I think they were still just playing as Dinosaur then, and the problem was like their songs were really fucking good, but it was way too loud. And I think it was
mm,
Thurston Moore, Sonic Youth was at one of their shows. Like I read this in Our Band Could Be Your Life, and
yeah,
Thurston went up to him and was like, "Guys, these are really good songs. You need to tune down. You need to turn it
yeah,
down. This is too
yeah,
much."
yeah.
But
Like
do
whenever,
you remember that Bob Mould band, Sugar?
yeah, yeah,
Apparently they
yeah.
were fucking as loud. Like every time I hear people talk about that band who saw them, like that was the loudest band I've ever seen. I also heard that about like Motorhead and AC/DC. I don't
Uh,
know, like I don't know what the how to get the.
um, like, I mean, you can turn up and like, but it's if the sound, the PA can handle it, like
Yeah,
when I used to be in this
that's a
band
good
called
point.
Comply or Die, and that was the first band I ever played guitar in. I had no clue. Like I was just like I didn't know what gain was or master volume or anything, and I just turned all the pedals pretty much all the way. I had like three pedal boards. It was ridiculous, and um, yeah, like the guy who used to do our sound all the time was just like, I never put you through the PA, and he's like, you have an orange half stack, and you just turn everything up. So why would I do that? And then we I was in this band called This Kiss Kills. I played drums in it, and we're like a Mars Volta kind of
Mhm.
thing, but mixed with Fugazi. It was really good but weird. But
Yeah,
we played this show, and these people came to film it like from like the TV or whatever, and they like these cameras set up, and then we were like 2.5 songs in, and all the cameras they just started taking the cameras down, and then they all disappeared, and then we were like emailing them after, like, what happened? And they were just like, that was so loud, like nothing made sense. Our cameras were shaking, like it was just pointless. I was like,
so it
that's
looked like a
great.
fucking Michael Bay film or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, whenever I bought that amp, man, I went up to the guy's house, and he was like, he had it on one, and I was like, I need to turn this up, and he was like, oh no, like that'll be loud enough. And I was like, no, man, like I play rock music, and I turned it up to
Ever
three
heard
and
of
was
rock
like,
music?
yeah, I swear to God, it's like the it was insane. If I'm on my own in the practice room before people come up, sometimes I'll turn it up, and just to get the thing. But I've never had it above like six. Like it is like jet engine loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody says like My Bloody Valentine's the loudest band, but like we'll find out in November. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bummed. I'm not going to be able to see them, but I would love to have seen that
What?
show. I can't go.
Why?
Well, it's sold out. I couldn't get a ticket.
I have a friend that's got a standing ticket, man.
I might try. Might buy it. I don't know. I'd love to.
I'll
I'd love to
ask
see
him
my
if you
Blue
want.
Velvet. I wish
Um,
they'd had a second date. I was so fucking psyched when they saw that, and I think did they announced dates in Japan, but I don't know if they announced any more dates in Europe
yeah,
or the UK or anything.
I'm going to Glasgow to see them like 6 days after Dublin as well. Because I was like,
Yeah,
this is it.
yeah,
Like
that's it. Like, yeah,
whatever happens, if there's a record or not, this is the end. They're
yeah,
not gonna like tour, like, because
yeah,
he is everyone's getting fucking older,
yeah.
and um yeah, they can't keep going for forever again. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's fine for him to do it because he's got legions of fans, but I don't know if I can be 67 playing fucking Shanae, being like, here's
Yeah.
some shoegaze kids.
May I psychoanalyze you for a second? Could I suggest that perhaps your fear of mortality is not based on your own death, but instead you're afraid of the death of Kevin Shields?
I am
Yeah.
terrified that I'll never get to work with him.
Dude, do you ever have like a musician's death really fucking hit you in a way where it's like, oh fuck. Like I had that oddly enough with Grant Hart from Husker Du when he died. Because
Oh yeah,
I knew Husker Du was never going back. Bob Mould was like, we're never
yeah,
doing a reunion. But I always
yeah.
kind of had a little inkling of hell of hope, and then he died, and I was like, ah man. And that's very
That was it.
selfish. I know that's very selfish of me to be like, I'll never see Husker Du, but I don't know. There was something about that, and I actually had the opportunity to see Grant Hart one time in Dublin, and I didn't go for some reason, and I'm
Uh,
always like regretting it. I was like, I wish I'd seen him that day because he was playing upstairs at Whelan's of all places.
yeah. He played Belfast that same tour, and I didn't go. Like I like Husker Du, wouldn't be like a massive fan.
Yeah,
I like Bob Mould's songwriting and approach to melody more than the kind of band.
He's a fucking. If you ever try to emulate his guitar riffs, I mean, it's just insane because like you're
Yeah,
just playing them and you're like, why would you think to fucking arrange your
yeah,
fingers like this? It's
I know.
just weird. It's very bizarre.
But my friend went and there's a photo of him with Grant Hart at it, and like the
Yeah,
dude, like he's, yeah. I mean, the fact that he lasted as long as he even did is
yeah,
insane. I've never had like a musician's one, but when Hunter Thompson died, I was like,
yeah,
fuck. I love Hunter, and he was a big influence on me, and I was like, well, but he done it on his own terms, so can't be that annoyed. But like,
yeah,
imagine he had been around today for the political shit show that the world is now. He would have had
yeah,
a field day, or would have just went on the Hill crazy rampage. Who knows? But
yeah.
yeah, that was a bummer. That one, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I feel it's always like you get those like kind of cultural figures. Like every time you look at like a Bill Hicks
mm,
clip online, everyone's just like, imagine
yeah.
if Bill was alive today. I've thought
Fucking
about this
hell,
actually. Could you imagine like if say The Simpsons had stopped airing in like 1998, and then people like, oh, imagine if The Simpsons were around today, what they'd be saying, and then they are
yeah,
around, and it's just like they say
yeah,
fucking nothing.
yeah. I know. It's yeah, that's a different thing now. Yeah, Bill Hicks. That would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think it
love.
would have been on the Infowars, man.
Yeah, yeah. He'd probably be a fucking general or something somewhere, just
Yeah.
being like, no,
He would have voted
disarm.
for the Iraq War.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just doing Goat Boy in the Senate would be like,
Oh.
yeah,
I need to ask something, man. You were mentioning kind of, you're thinking about, as you were getting older, like, how long you can kind of do this for. When I saw Broncos, I was really kind of amazed at just fucking how much you were giving the drones, man. I mean, like, you were fucking bollocks after that set, it seems.
yeah.
But I was wondering, like, do you find that playing guitar takes the same amount of I don't know, the same amount of energy and does it take as much out of you as playing the drums?
No.
Yeah.
Like,
So do you
short
think
answer,
guitar is more manageable than drum?
yeah, yeah. Like the way I played, like if I changed how I played drums, that would be fine. But the way I approach drums is like I hate them and they hate me and they need to
Yeah.
die. And like so it's a very like um yeah, that's like a primal kind of attack, I guess, to it. And like I try and hold back to pace myself and stuff, but it just doesn't always, like I've always played like that, and it's just from what, like, Dave Grohl is like my drum guy, and like I remember he was just like, I'm not the best drummer in the world, but if I play a show, I want people to see me and walk away and be like, that guy, like he fucking went for it. And
Yeah.
so what, like if I'm playing, like I put everything in, like the way I look at it is it's half an hour. I'm not hopefully gonna die, in that half hour. So just put everything you can at it. And if I don't understand how people can come off stage and not be sweaty,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so like playing guitar is much less like a physical. I mean, obviously even the way I play guitar is very physical, and like people don't normally play like that because they're sensible. Um, but like it's much more manageable to be able to play and do that kind of thing. But even like I I'm like, it's like that kind of meme. It's like, oh, that's why my back's sore. And then like I'll see a
Yeah.
photo of me on stage and I'm bent over trying to be like Mark Arm or Iggy Pop or something. And I'm like, oh right, that's why. Yeah. But like, I mean, there's also like the thing of which is the most terrifying thing, is like the creative well running dry,
Yeah.
and like that, you know, I would say anybody who is creative in any kind of field, like there's times where it feels like it's bottomless, and there's times where it feels like it's never gonna come back. And
Yeah.
and then also the other equally scary thing is like not knowing if it's good or not. Like it's as important to have that barometer of like, okay, like I know this isn't just me being like, this is three chords and the truth. Like this is actually like, it's a good song, and I understand why it's a good song. And so yeah, that frightens me as much as like me dropping to my knees playing some solo and not being able to get back up. And
Yeah.
uh uh yeah, yeah, like the creativity thing, as long as it keeps going, like I'll keep writing stuff, I mean, I would hope that it doesn't end, but like, you just never know, man, and like some,
Yeah,
especially writing in like a genre piece of music, like where if limitations can be a curse and a gift, because like where sometimes it's like, well, where do you go? Or like, or then you're left with like, well, how did I innovate? Or like, what's my voice within this sphere, and trying to navigate all those things. And then sometimes it's like, well, I should probably just get out of my own way and just write what I enjoy, and not have this like cerebral inner monologue over just what
yeah,
is essentially songs, and like, does this verse really matter? And like, how
yeah.
much does it really matter? And
Because you want to take it
um
seriously, but you don't want to like take it too
you can
seriously. It's a
yeah,
balance.
you can like concrete slippers yourself into like inactivity, or
Yeah.
just like and
Do you
it
think
like
inactivity or over intellectualizing is worse for art?
yeah, like I mean, like I say, my mom and dad are artists, so they started late. So whenever I was in my teens, they were in art college.
Yeah,
And my mom was a very conceptual artist, and a lot of it was like installation pieces. So a lot of that is really, you only really appreciate it when you understand the thinking behind it, and the approach behind it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I play fuzzy rock music. So like, if I think if you over it's fine to do it and then look and even writing lyrics and then like look back and be like, I know what I was talking about there, like I think what Jesus meant to say, but like, do you know what I mean? Like it you going back, you can be like, oh, I understand, like that. Like that's a like reflection of a subconscious place that I was in that I wasn't able to articulate any other way,
yeah,
and like that's fine. But if you sit down and go, okay, so like some bands can do it, like, but if you say you sit down, you're like, I'm gonna write a conceptual piece based on the sonnets of Shakespeare and the cultural impact that he had on medieval, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah.
fuck, that's gonna suck for a start, like from the get go. But like, yeah, I think,
I think themes should just be organically what you're interested in rather than trying to come up with a thesis.
yeah, like looking, like I know that like Faze was written because I couldn't sleep, Like I didn't sit down to write a song about not sleeping, and whenever I wrote the words for but then yes, it was as I was singing the song to figure out vocals. So those are things, I guess you could say, stream of consciousness,
Yeah,
and but like looking back, like I know, like I'm like, oh, I see what that is now, and um I certainly think for some people, like big breaks in creativity work because it like fills the well or recharges the batteries. But like, if I don't if I don't have a guitar in my hand, I was going to say, if I don't have something in my hand, if I don't have a guitar in my hand, then like it it's easy to sometimes playing too much, like you fall into the same patterns, when your hands just always go to the same place. And
yeah, of course.
but also then like songwriting is like
For me, it's E minor for some reason. I always goes
yeah,
E minor.
man, I wish I could tell you key signatures. I don't know, but it generally has C and G in it for me. So I
Yeah.
guess it's G. I don't know. And yeah, I wish I could write an E minor because that sounds cool. I'm sure it sounds a bit sad. And but like, if I don't play, then when I start to try to do the thing again, like it's it really is like spinning the wheels until like all the rust falls off, and then like trying to get back to that stage. Whereas if I'm like constantly writing, not everything's gold, obviously, but like it's easier to get to the point where you're like, oh, that's a cool thing, But yeah, even if it means like just walking past the room and like playing guitar for 5 minutes, and you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling it today, but not having that like um pressure of, oh, like this has to be a song,
Yeah.
which is something I'm really, really guilty of. I'm like, why isn't this great all the time? Not that everything I do is great or anything, but I'm just saying, like, in my estimation, like, why aren't I getting that thing, that feeling from this thing? Why aren't I able to pick that up and just go like that all the time? But I think everybody's different when it comes to that. Like, people could not write like it. working with, I'm sure you do the same, like working with a bunch of people that like this is their first album in 5 years, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, what were you doing?
I'll tell
You
you, a lot
know?
of people getting latency for COVID. Even still to this day, like a lot of it's just still making up for lost time for COVID. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah,
seriously,
yeah,
I'm still talking to artists now, and they're like, I'm like, so yeah, it's been a gap between your release. They're like, well, COVID still. Like, all right, you know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
I guess like, and I mean, like maybe I know a lot of people were very uninspired during that time, and I understand that too.
it was a weird
Um,
time because like some people like
mm,
really quit, were like, I'm done, you know, I can't deal with
yeah,
this, and then other people were like, it revitalized them or gave them, it was like I have to do something. So
yeah,
it was a weird kind of culling, but also birth, I guess, as well. It's very strange.
yeah. Like, I mean, I never call any like I never say Virgins is like a COVID ban, but it definitely was like born during that time, you know,
Yeah.
and uh I just think it afforded me the opportunity to develop that enough. And like whereas other people seemed crippled by the unending freedom to be able to go do that. I mean, like I understand that. I understand that too. It's like the same, it's like the deadline thing, you
Yeah.
know, like do you have to do it? Okay, we'll do it, you know, where it's like if you've just all this freedom, it's like too much choice, you know. It's like white stripes, you know, red, white,
Yeah.
black. Who
Yeah.
that's it. You know, what can you do? You know?
Yeah. I was trying to take about too much more of your time, man. I just wanted to ask
No,
you a
it's
little
all
bit
good.
about, yeah, perfect. With the new song, I mean, you were mentioning working with AJ. I was just wondering, you mentioned the kind of theme of sort of, I guess, the movements of a relationship and the development of a relationship. Did you give that theme to AJ and say, come up with something, or was it just how did the direction of, I guess, in terms of like giving AJ, was it literally just like, here are the parts where we need vocals? Was it that simple, and then just supplement what you
I
want?
Yeah, I was really loose with it, man. Like and like normally I can be very, very specific, but I was like, look, here's the words, make of them what you will. You know, I guess I'm interested to see what he's going to bring to it too. And that comes from like a big place of trust and, you know, what his talent, obviously. And again, I was like, you know, I think your vocals should go here or from here all the way through. And he sent me two options. I He thought it should be at the end, and the other option was like from the middle where like the solo starts, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
And I half of me is like, cause he didn't want it there. I'm like, did he just like half ass from that bit? Like, because like the end bit was like so good, and but I think he just had like a thing in his head. He was like, I know where to go with this, and then I was like, I had a message typed out to him one day, and I was like, you know, what are you singing? And I was like, I actually don't want to know. Like like it's cool for me to have a bit of mystery around the release, I guess, like from my part, and it means like I can just enjoy it for what it is, you know, for that part, and I don't have to be like, oh, this doesn't fit, or maybe like you should have said this. It's like because I was like, sounds great, done. We're
Yeah.
let's ready move, let's go. And then I would send him the mixes, and then I send him like the test master, and then like the final master. So he's just been excited. I suppose it's cool for him where he isn't also like, because I know he's very hands on with his stuff. So I
Yeah.
guess it's maybe nice for him where he's just like, I sing it and it's away and it'll be out, and I don't have to do worry about like the release or strategy or schedule or PR. And he's just like I can just be out, you know,
Yeah.
and that's cool. I would like to work with more people in like a similar kind of capacity going forward.
That's
But
what I was going to ask. I mean, like,
yeah,
do you think it's a good platform for collaboration?
yeah, like it was funny because the year before, not this year, the year before, I brought out another album called Orchids, and it had like lots of female and non-binary singers, and I also released it on my birthday, and so like, and that was working with a lot of different people, you know, and like, because some of the other projects are very uh cloistered and isolated, and this is us, and like that's fine, and there's benefit to that too. But with this, I guess just because like it's a slightly more freewheeling, like it would be cool to work with different people. But then you also run into the problem of like, if their part becomes like a really essential part
I was thinking of
of
that,
it,
yeah.
you know, what do you like? That's why Orchids never really got to play live, because it's like I would need eight different singers to be able
Yeah.
to do the songs, and it almost
Would you feel
happened and
weird
then
like
it
playing the
didn't.
backing tracks or anything?
I would never do it.
Okay.
It's just not for me. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like the sounds and the songs are, it's a band, like, and also I know whenever we play live, as much as you try to stick to those tempos, there's always that like adrenaline thing. And even in practice, like we've been up practicing the silk stuff, and um there's a bit of a push, and like I keep having to say like we need to bring it, because also like vocals, I can't, like I'm still learning how to do those things, especially live, and I can't like rush ahead because I'm still trying to like stick with what that is. So um yeah, but I would like to work with a bunch more people, and then like Shane. It's good that Shane's in the band, that he can do vocals as well. So it means if there is another part, and then I was writing vocals for a new song, and there are two very distinct vocal parts, and it was only after he was like, "Oh man, like I could do some," and then I'm like, "Well, now that opens up a different thing," and um yeah, he's just slowly working his way into it, like, and then he'll be stuck with me.
Do you have a consistent personnel for Silk, or is it kind of just based on who's available?
This is very much I mean, the first run of it, like James, who used to be in Virgins in Winona, James.
Yeah, James Foy, yep.
So he's doing a couple of shows. He's doing the July show, and he's doing Gaze Fest, and then I'm chatting to another guy for drums to be able to go keep doing it. And like Cameron and Shane from Broncos are doing it, and it's easy for me to ask them because we're in a band and
Yeah.
we're all very familiar with each other, and like we're in the practice room anyway. So like even if we can do stuff, I guess then so I don't know. It's very early days, but I think uh the model of like me writing, recording, and doing all the stuff like is something I'm kind of at this stage fairly keen to keep. I think just because of such a specific idea that I want to like make sure. But then like I also really enjoy working with people, and like Shane has a great bass tone and he brings something to it already in practice. He's like, "Oh, well, I might not play here," or like I might do this thing. And like I'm like, that's fine, like on the record, I wanted to do this, but if you think that's the better or works better for you, like why not? And then this is what happened last time, man. And then fucking who knows what happens? So then it's a band, and yeah, I
Suddenly we're
at
touring
the
the world.
yeah, oh God. At the minute, I like the way it is, and I like the opportunity to be able to work with people. And it means like the only thing is that it takes a considerable amount of time to bring somebody new in and get them up to speed,
Yeah.
and especially if it's a drummer, because that has a very considerable impact on like feel, and like, they might just be learning my parts, but even how they would play my parts is different, and I've been in enough bands with enough different drummers playing different, the same songs different ways to know that like the drummer is really the like it is the heartbeat of it, so that it does change things substantially. Um, but hopefully everybody who's kind of involved stays, pretty close, because it would make going forward a lot easier.
And Belfast isn't that big, you know where they live, so you'll be on
Man,
their
I'm
door.
I'm running out of people to play with in Belfast, to be honest.
Actually, do you find like new people coming up still, or is it kind of just the people you've known for a while?
No, I mean the people my age that are still playing are few and far between. And whenever I was uh growing up and coming up, I was always in bands with people who were older than me, and now like I'm the older guy in the
Yeah.
band. And then like the new people who are coming in are like, early 20s and stuff. And like there are some great musicians coming in, but I also, it's a different, like there's a generational thing there, and it's a different ball game to them, and like they're doing a different thing, and they don't maybe necessarily want to be in like, a band with like older people, and all that kind of stuff. So it like there's no one new at my age that suddenly appears, that like
Yeah.
secretly I've been like playing shoegaze in a bedroom for the last 15 years, and now I want to do it in front of people. So, um, it's weird to say, but it does get like the more I do it, the harder it does get to find like people that you get on with and want to do the same thing and are dedicated enough to go do it the way I want to do it, and uh, yeah, so yeah, fuck. It might not even be me not being able to do it. I might just run out of people to play with. And then it
So
will
then you
just
will have
be
to go to backing tracks.
me and tracks, man. Yeah. Or I'll teach my brother how to play eventually. I keep asking Kira to learn an instrument, but she refuses. She's like, I'm never being in a band with you. We'll get divorced.
She's seen it firsthand what being a
Oh, she
musician could do to a
fucking
person.
knows,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like I'm not getting into that. I would rather do crack.
Yeah. It would probably be an easier way to go, yeah.
Well, I have to say, like you were talking about, like being the older person band. I was gonna say, like maybe you should see the new iteration of Black Flag. Do you see that? It's just
Oh my
Greg Ginn
God.
and a bunch of teenagers.
Fucking hell. Like that's what I'm starting to feel like,
Yeah,
man. Like
I was.
fucking
They're playing in Dublin. They're playing Opium in Dublin, and
fuck that.
I was like, fuck, I might like before the announcement. I was like, I don't know. Will I just go say I've seen Black Flag? Even though it's
Yeah,
not really Black Flag. But then I was like, I saw that line. I was like, guys, come on. But the same
man,
thing, Dead
it's
Kennedys. Live Free Tour book, and they brought Dead Kennedys to Ireland.
mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, I don't know, just to say I saw Dead Kennedys. But then I saw footage of it. I didn't go. I saw footage of it online. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of glad I stayed home and
Nah, man.
slept.
That's that's not the Dead Kennedys and that's not
No,
Black Flag.
yeah.
There's a reason why Minor Threat don't get back together.
Yeah.
There's I
I
mean
think you could. I think
Fugazi,
you could get Minor Threat back though with the original members, but they wouldn't want to do it. I mean, they're like Ian McKay now
nah,
was never about nostalgia. I mean, even like when
nah,
he was in Fugazi, people were like, "Play Minor Threat," and he was just like, "No, this is a new
no,
band."
it's over. Yeah, 100%. I respect that Fugazi are like they're like we're done. I
Yeah.
know they say like sometimes it's like oh well never never, but like they're done. And like yeah, that I saw that Black Flag photo the other day and I was like oh it's fucking that's
Are you doing a show up
awful.
in Belfast or is it just Dublin this time?
I don't know. They like was it Flag? They were or no Flag was Keith
So
Morris's one.
this is so stupid. So for those who know, so there's Black Flag, which is Greg Ginn, and I
Yeah.
think he had just like some. I don't even remember who was in that band, but then you had Flag, which had like I think Keith Morris, and had who else was in it? It was
Is it
Dez. I think Dez was in it, was he?
Des Cadena?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Des Cadena. I
Did they
think he was
have
in it.
like the drummer? Was it like
Bill
uh
Stevenson. Yeah, I think it was.
yeah. I know there was a couple. It seemed a slightly more legitimate
Yeah.
approach.
And they were playing
But
like the old songs, like the
yeah,
from pre kind of My War. I think I actually played some songs off My War and Slip It In, but it was like primarily it was like the first
first
four
four
years.
years.
Yeah.
That's the good shit, man.
That's a really
Like,
good street, yeah.
yeah.
I think I've said
I
this to someone. I can't remember if it was you or it says someone. I think Slip It In and My War are like half good records, but the problem was they don't know when to end the fucking song, so they just go on for like 5 minutes.
yeah,
And then years
yeah.
later, I was listening to because it was out of print for a while, but the audiobook version was up on YouTube. I was listening to Get in the
Get
Van,
in the
the Henry
van.
Rollins, and there's a bit
Love
where
it.
Henry, yeah, but Henry's talking about like, oh, these fucking punk kids, they couldn't like accept that we were trying something new, and they just wanted to hear Six Pack
Mm,
and all this. And I was like, but dude, you look at like Husker Du and you look at the Minutemen, and they went from a hardcore band and they did something else, and people were
yeah,
receptive to it because it was good.
yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
no one wants to hear Rat's Eyes.
I know.
It's the worst song
They,
ever.
I love Rollins, and I just think he's class. And
Yeah.
but I read Get in the Van. Uh, I sold it, which I fucking shouldn't have done. But I read
I
it,
think
and
it's
I
back
was
in
like,
print now, so you can get one.
oh
Yeah.
cool.
I
And I
think
was like,
Henry has his own publishing house. I think they
oh
republish it
cool.
somehow. Yeah.
I'll get it because I remember really enjoying it. But
Yeah.
some of it seemed so. It written at the time, obviously, so it seems so. And he's like, it's me and the iron. The iron is always there, and I'm
Yeah.
just like. Come on, man. And like Rollins now is a different. I watched a lot of stuff. I love hearing him talk, and I
Yeah.
think he's
I saw
really
him live a
engaging and
bunch, like
great.
doing the
Oh,
spoken
did you?
words.
I've
Yeah, I saw
never
him a few
seen him.
times. Yeah.
I just think he's great, and but you can see the evolution of Rollins from like oh angry Black Flag and like oh angry Rollins, and then he just kind of mellows out and evens out a wee bit, and he's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm cool now. I've I got that out of my system, and like he's able to look back and be like, well, that was kind of silly, but like yeah, that's a great book. I love it. I like I so much of what I do is directly informed by that. Like I know Greg Ginn has missteered the ship somewhat in recent years, but like
And he also
that
fucked over a lot of the SSD bands with payments.
yeah, yeah, but it's like that initial kind of thing of like, do you want to go tour? I'll pick up the phone. Like I will book the venue or I'll buy a van or I'll do the thing. Like just do the thing. And then that thing happens. Otherwise, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And like I also don't want to be like Breaking and Black Flag 25 years later.
Going to the local secondary school. Anyone want to be in the
Yeah.
band?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why
All
my
my
kid
friends
doesn't
hate
play
me.
music. Like he's just like, I don't want to be in a band with you, Dad.
Yeah, so don't go see Black Flag is what we're saying
No,
when they come by your
definitely,
city.
definitely not. No,
Yeah, dude, I do think
odd.
about the longevity of some of these bands, man, and it is quite sad. I think when you have like artists who are kind of like, for lack of a better term, legacy artists, you see this a lot actually more with I think the British punk bands, where they stay around and, they play a Rebellion Festival every year, and they kind of stick
Mm,
around. Then they put out like a new record, and they're trying to create new art. I think I might have said this before, but like then no one buys it, and it's just like,
yeah,
oh, there's that weird record from their comeback that no one really cares
yeah,
about. Everyone just wants to hear fucking Warhead or Suspect
yeah,
Device, you know?
yeah. I think like all that kind of punk kind of thing, uh, like that is sustained by the people of a certain age then that
Yeah,
were around and like hold on to that, and that's fine, and that means something to them, and that's great. um but yeah, it's difficult. I think funny, one of the bands that managed, two bands I think that really managed to completely blow by all that, one of them was Dinosaur Jr. Like they
yeah,
came back and they were like, here's a record, oh shit, it's fucking great. And
yeah.
then Mudhoney as well, they were just
Mm.
like, we're Mudhoney, like, and they have like explored lots of different things, but it's always a good record, and it never, like, I remember going to see them, what it was like, I think it was like two or three into their like comeback time. And I was just as excited about the new songs as I was as like seeing like Touch Me I'm Sick or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. Same as Dinosaur, like the new Dinosaur stuff is always great. And uh
I've never actually got a chance to see either of those acts. Actually, I know
oh
they come
man,
here periodically, so I do
yeah.
have the opportunities. Just I don't know. I was thinking of going to see the Melvins. I was like, I think I should check that out. I
I saw the Melvins, like
They're playing at
I
Red
was
Cross.
yeah, saw them when I was like mid-20s. I remember I had to like leave early because I had Smix and he was really wee. But like they played with Big Business and Porno, so Cody from Murder City is in Big Business and the Melvins. So, and they do that too. They're doing the true drum kit thing now,
Yeah,
and they have, because they're left and right, it's like a mirror image, man. It was amazing. They were so good. Like the Honey Bucket live with two drummers is just like, and like the like Nude with Boots and a Sea Land Animal, like the records Cody played on, it's just amazing. I would recommend go to see the Melvins. They're
I need
still
to.
as like I went to see Botch last year. I think it was last year. Uh, like they weren't as like insano, but there was still so much like visceral energy, and I was like, they haven't lost it. And I'm going to see Refused in Dublin in October, and I was watching some stuff, of them like touring around.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that like just like fuck the world kind of like energy. It's much more celebratory of like the
Yeah.
art and whatever. So I think it's slightly different, but I would like the Melvins are still the Melvins, like yeah, I wouldn't miss them. If Are they playing here on the new tour?
Yeah, it was cool. They were originally booked for the Button Factory, but sold out, and they upgraded to Vicar Street, so that's cool.
Ah, yeah, dude, I would 100% go to that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
for
when it
sure.
is, but I need to go check that out when it
Yeah.
comes out. I'll try and take up too much more of your time. I wanted to ask a little bit about, I guess, discerning between, because like with shoegaze, we kind of touched on this earlier. We're talking about the versatility of shoegaze, but how do you discern between what should be a Virgin song and what should be a Silk song?
Just feeling, man. Like I kind of know, I kind of know what I want to achieve with both, and there was certainly things that I'd taken divergence, as I kind of was navigating that and trying to figure it out. And I was just like, I have this really cool song, and I really like it. And here's the song, and like da, 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 da. And then like would maybe play it a couple of times, and then eventually somebody would work up the courage to be like, I don't like this,
Yeah.
or like, and it became very clear after I think I tried it twice, and I kind of knew I was like, this is maybe slightly, but I was like, it's a really good song, and it just initially it was down to like, I don't think I can sing this the way I wanted to be sang, and then just as I kind of got like more comfortable with it, I was like, I can do this, like I can do this the way I kind of think it should be done. But there's some stuff that it's like this is clearly not like a Virgin's thing, and this is like clearly not a Silk thing. And like the Silk stuff definitely leans into more of that like bigger wall of noise, kind of like super fuzzy and like almost like impenetrable kind of thing. And um I think initially I was very focused on doing this like really one thing, and then it's like that it's not me, I was trying to like force myself into this like place that I couldn't, it just wasn't naturally fitting. So I was like, oh, I'll just write, and whatever comes out I'll be able to like figure out whichever is going to go whatever way. And then it's just become really obvious over like the last couple of months, like if I have a thing that like generally at the minute, like Birds are trying to do a much more collaborative songwriting approach. So I'll know like if I have this thing, I'll take it so far and then I'll stop. Then I'll let all the hands get on it. But if sometimes I'm like I have this other thing and I'm going like front to end on it, like I know that's for a Silk song, and um like there is a like I've like a mini album of sorts written for Silk. So I've like all this material. It's sitting there, and like it's like I think I've half of it recorded properly now, the rest's all demos. Um, so it's like I have all this material, but I keep writing new bits and pieces and adding to it. But it's a feeling, and like I know the Virgin stuff goes one way, and like I say, it's sun and light, and there's a bit of kind of like um I don't want to say hopefulness to it, but it's certainly a brighter hue to this Silk stuff, which is definitely kind of happier and um yeah, just a bit more kind of weighty, I guess, I think is the way to do it. Like I still think there's like because there's a lot of melody and stuff like I would say that the biggest difference between the two is like most of the melody comes from the guitar and Silk, and like the vocals are that classic shoegaze textural kind of thing. It is like more of an instrument than the message, is how I kind of term it to people. Whereas in the other place, like it's very more vocal forward and like there's a lot of kind of melody, but it's like it's the vocals are more the focus. Whereas this, I can turn the amp up to 12.
Do you also find like with the vocals being buried, you can kind of express yourself a bit more freely?
Well, like because in Virgins I would write a lot of the melodies and lyrics, and writing for somebody else is different. Like there's things that I melodically Rebecca can do a lot more than I can, so
Yeah,
I'm able to lean into that. There's also things that I don't think that I could sing lyrically that she can. Whereas like this way, I actually think like the lyrics in Silk are a much more direct kind of approach as to like a wee bit more kind of like abstract and paint a picture kind of thing.
sure.
Whereas this feels very like I, me, you kind of we stuff. Um, and I don't really. That's again. That's just how it's kind of went. Like that's not. It was never a conscious decision. It's just what I has came out as I've been doing stuff. I guess it's because I feel like it's a much more me thing. Like it's very like I do this, so it should only make sense that I sing about things from then an I point of view. which maybe isn't the most like sophisticated lyric point of view, but it's where we're at. Yeah.
Perfect, man. I just want
The
to
thing
plug one more
is,
time.
man, no
Sorry.
one's going to be able to fucking hear the lyrics anyway, so we'll
That's what I'm
make it
saying. You can
different.
just say what you want, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I hate
You could just
coffee.
be recipes for lemon cake or something. Probably
Yeah.
I just want to actually plug the single one more time. It's But Then Yes. I actually realized just as we just before we began to record, I didn't write down the release date, so maybe you could illuminate.
Yeah, so it's Matthew Smith's birthday, which is the 26th of June, and it comes out 26th of June, and then we play our first show the 25th of July with uh Sheila, Picture Postcard, and Alpha Twin in the Deershead in Belfast, and then we're second on in Fest Belfast on August 30th, and then we'll have a Dublin date before the end of the year as well, and yeah, that Alpha Twin show, they're like recording it, they're filming it and taking audio off it, so they're making like a big deal of it. They're bringing in a lot of lights and cameras and stuff, so I was like, well, that'll be cool. We hope, can we use those? So yeah,
Just like sick in the background, just photo bomb.
yeah, like playing live is first show is always a bit nerve wracking, and like
Yeah.
I haven't really ever sang in front of people. So that's kind of scary. And like any time I've like done vocals in a band, it's been screamy or like kind of shouty.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I'm actually trying to hit notes, so that's kind of terrifying. So like as we practice, it's just kind of trying to refine that and hope it doesn't sound terrible on the night. Again, as long as I don't hate it, man, like it's fine. But at the
Are
end of
you
the
good with like
day,
key and pitch? Like when it came to singing, was that
no,
something that came organic to you?
no clue. Don't know. I really have to work at the singing. Like there's a new song I'm working on it. It is like the vocals ape the guitar line, and I really have to focus on like I know when it's right and I know when it's wrong. It's just trying to get my voice to those parts. But that just comes with practice, man. And like it took me so long to like find like a voice that was in me that worked for the project, I guess. And um so now that I've kind of got that, I'm like, okay, well, I can do this, I can do the thing. And but like every time I open my mouth to record, I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm trying to figure out where it is. But I also think that it's really helpful then if like I'll do a thing and then I'll demo it and listen back and then I'll be able to work on it like as I drive around in the van, like I'll be
Yeah.
like singing along and figuring out what works. And then once I have the thing, then I just practice to myself, and then it's really, really helpful then. Um, but it is a brutal process. Like, did not be a singer and be trying to sing and then record yourself and listen back and just be like, Jesus Christ. And then like there was one day I spent, honestly, man, it was like 5 hours in the practice room, recorded vocals for like 6 songs. I was like, these sound great. This is class. Got home next day, went to mix them, and I was like, this sounds awful. And like I just wasted time. There was like but then yes, it took I don't even know. Like I got to the point where I was like, I'm not gonna put this out because I can't find the thing that I think that it needs, and I spent so many different ways and so many different lyrics and all this stuff. And then when I hit upon this thing, then it all kind of just clicked and coalesced and then it allowed me to kind of do the thing. But it took, I mean, like I would go to the studio or the practice place and record vocals and come home and just be in like a shit mood because I'd be like, I'm not a musician. I can't play. Like just total like cliche prima donna about the whole thing. Or like I'd like try and like figure stuff out, and it would just really affect me. I think because I wanted it to be this thing that I just couldn't do. It's not like on drums where if I wanted to do a fill, like I can just learn that fill and I'll be able to do
Sure.
it. Like it, no, but it just took time. So, and it's still an ongoing learning process, and then playing live, that'll be another thing. I'm like, I shouldn't drink before I play live then because like it'll like affect vocals and like I should probably not try and like scream in people's ears for like the 2 hours before. And But then I'm just kind of like, do you know what? Like genuinely, the guitars will be so loud and my vocals will be so quiet. It will be fine. Like I really like I really like Whir. Uh, like when you hear Whir live, like all the guitars are up here and the vocals are like, you know, they're barely there, and that's kind of, I mean, that was the sound I was always kind of going for anyway. So,
Yeah.
and like there is a much more focus on the instrumentation, and every now and again, hopefully, like my vocals pop up through the mix, and it's not a bum note, but some like vocal effects processors that like reverb and help, with like achieving that thing live, so that at least whenever I go in, I can be like, I know what that sounds like. Put that out there, turn all the guitars up, keep me quiet. And if yeah, people are into it, that cool. If not, it's totally fine.
I
Fine.
don't think it is. They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I'll say that for you. I'll be
Yeah.
you have to be diplomatic about it. I don't. I knew a guy once when I was in secondary school who was getting into hip hop, and he was sort of like doing beats at home, and he would have the beat that he wants, and he would have his lines written down, and he would record it, and he was like, "It's the stupidest thing ever." He'd record it and it'd always sound off. He's like, "Fuck, it just doesn't sound good." And he like struggled with it for a bit, and then he realized that there's actually, as you record and as you're listening to the track as you're recording, and then the vocal track is being recorded, there's obviously a bit of latency between
Mm,
you saying it and it being recorded. So he didn't realize that he had to adjust his vocal lines to the beat. So once he figured
yeah.
that out, he was fine. But I just thought it was so funny that like he had to like learn that. But I guess, yeah, we all got to learn somehow.
Yeah. Like doing vocals and like recording in general, but doing vocals, like even the kind of mic that you use has like
Yeah,
such a massive effect. And then there's like on the uh God, what do you call it? Interface thing. There's like a little button on the channel, and you can either select like mic or it's like instrument or line.
yeah,
And if you put it as instrument, it drops the signal lots. Sometimes that's actually really good to record with, especially this kind of stuff. So there's like all these wee things, and so now like I do it like I have a way that I think works, but I always try all these like different things to see like how else I can get to where I want to be. But even like whenever I started doing vocals for it, I was like, oh, I'll just turn all the reverb and delay all the way up and it'll be fine. And then obviously that doesn't, it's not
yeah.
that, like it's a oddly a much more refined kind of thing, but it's just figuring your way through that. And even like, how your voice comes out and you hear that, that's not actually, when you hear it back, then it's an entirely different thing. And it's like trying to like train yourself to recognize that, as it comes out, and yeah, to be honest, like it's a nightmare. I should never have started.
Well, you're in too deep now.
I'm in too deep now, man. Yeah, once you start telling people you're putting music out, then you have to do it. Have to do it.
And I guess one final thing I'll leave you with is for Silk. I mean, are you pushing this as hard as you are Broncos and Virgins?
I mean, I can't say no because it's just the inherent thing within me to be like, I've put this out and it's like a process, man. It's just ingrained in me now, and like I would obviously like it to do well. I mean, no one who puts music out doesn't want people to enjoy it and doesn't want people to listen to it. And
Sure.
the thing that always drives me is like going to play live. So and like being on tour. Like that's really like I love recording and all, and but I love going to play live. So the idea is like eventually like to put out hopefully like a longer thing and then go tour and do the do the thing, that I love to do. Like I don't buy a van for it just to drive it to the practice room. I want to drive that up and down the country and the UK and try and do shows. Like I still haven't done shows outside of the UK, so I would love to go do like European stuff or even like American stuff would be great. Yeah, genuinely, I know it
I'd
sounds
say
like
skip America for like 4 years.
yeah. I mean,
I would be
I'm
so threatened. Like I was thinking about this. Like I'm not trying to get political, but like legitimately, I was like, if you're a band on the road and you're in the States, and then Trump just announces some weird shit, and then you're like, well, we're fucked now. That's our tour.
I
It's
know.
like you could just go. There's 100% tariff on all international acts or some shit. You'd be like, fuck.
Yeah. Or he just comes out and makes shoegaze illegal or something. Like, what do you do?
I would say tour the United States before they sorry, tour Canada rather before they become annexed by the
Yeah,
US.
yeah. Like I know it sounds dark, but all those things. I'm like, well, I haven't played Europe yet, but like reasonably, I can still go do that and make a good swing of it.
Yeah.
Like now, still at the age that I am. Whereas like if I'm hitting like 50 and like going to play like some German club, like does that, is that worth it then? Whereas like I mean, I probably still would fucking do it, but like,
I tell you,
I'm
man, if
like,
Breaking could play the SO36 at 70, you
dude,
can.
yeah. But yeah, I just want to go and do the stuff and like do cool things. Like I've done so much with various different bands that I've been in now that I just keep being like that was class, I done that and great, that's amazing. I can't believe I've done this and played this place and all these amazing things. So like I've far almost outran whatever thought was like possible from like not being able to play music and being a fucking drummer. And so now like anything else, I'm just like as a bonus, but I'm like, I want to go do, there's things that I still want to achieve and do. So I'm like, I should go do that. And whenever I was like asking people to play, it's like, here's the things that I want to do. Do you want to do these things? And obviously then because like in band, like I'm in Broncos with those guys, and our goals and things that we want to do all align. So it's just, uh, but then now they're like, well, should Broncos do that or should Silk do that? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's fucking two different things, man. So, but we were joking the other night. I was like, soon I'll be able to put on a festival of just my bands. And then like straight away, I was like, fuck, maybe I should do that. And then Shane was like, don't do that.
You will
That's a
die.
terrible idea. You have to do 6 sets then. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But
You
then
never think about.
inside me, I'm still like, I should just do that.
Yeah, I think you should at least do it once for a gig and then see how you get on. Then maybe it'll
Yeah,
just dissuade
maybe
you.
like, yeah, like a 3 band thing
Yeah,
as opposed
exactly.
to
Yeah.
like 9 hours.
Michael Fest
Yeah,
2025.
Mike Fest. Yeah, Jesus.
Perfect, man. I guess one thing I'll just ask is, future plans. I mean, you mentioned the gigs that are coming up. If you want to plug them again, but just generally, what does the future hold for Silk? I mean, it seems that you're being kind of like, yeah, whatever happens, happens, kind of.
Uh, yeah, maybe I'm being
You're quite
nonchalant about
blasé.
things. Yeah, but like in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, so I've like new demos to do, and I wrote that cool riff the other day, and like I have stuff set in there that I just need to add vocals to, and then it's done, like properly done. And then I've songs that are demoed that I need to figure out the vocals to. So the plan is like a couple of shows this year. Obviously, the single comes out. Getting to play. I know Gaze Fest's my show, but getting to do Gaze Fest with like White Lands and Sun Stinger and stuff like that is amazing and very exciting. And
I'm
then
honored.
hope,
I'm honored. I asked myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like that
but
meme member of Obama putting the medal on someone, then someone just photoshopped Obama's head on it, so it's
yeah,
just Obama gives himself the medal.
yeah. Like there was some post I put up, and it was like, thanks to Old Crows for XYZ, and James just sent me, like the like emoji, like the two hands shaking. It was like Michael Smith with Michael Smith, and just brand awareness, man. It's brand
Yeah, of course.
awareness. But yeah, I would like to have like put out the rest of the songs essentially as
Yeah.
like a full, like a either EP or like mini album kind of. I don't know, I'm like fixated on this mini album thing recently, man. It's like
What's the
Therapy put
distinction
out.
between an EP and a mini
I
album?
don't know. So I'm recently I've been receiving a lot of EPs from people that are 3 songs.
Yeah,
And I'm like, that's not an EP. Like an EP is 4 or more. And
I think it's
then
4 to 6 would be an EP. I think when
yeah,
you're in seven, you're over an EP line, in my point.
I think like 4 to 5 is an EP. I think like 6 to 7 is like a mini album, and
Yeah.
then like 8 and above. But like I don't
But then you
know.
think of like, like Ride the Lightning, for example. That's only 8 songs, but that's like definitely a full album.
But that's a record. That's a yeah.
Yeah,
And like I mean, I think if you're putting it out on, because if you're putting it out on vinyl, it has to be about 8. Like if
yeah.
they're long songs, like So that's why I'm like 8 and above's a record. Like anything like it's fucking stupid. 7 to 5 is like a mini album, or like 7-6 is a mini album. 4 to 5 is an EP. I'm like 3 songs is just single with B-sides,
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
that's, and I mean, I don't, yeah, I'm like, because I keep seeing it, I'm like, 3 songs isn't an EP. What? No, just put those out individually. Like, you'll do so much better. But
Well, you
yeah,
know
I'm
the
like,
thing about the waterfall releases, where it's like every time you put out a new single,
yeah,
you add the old single onto it. It
yeah,
feels like that kind of thing.
yeah. I should have done that for this one actually, because it would have made sense. But and they're separate things. Like these 2 songs, I'm not saying won't be on the record, but I don't at the minute. Like the plan is they are separate things that were recorded at a separate time, and like the newer stuff is all recorded all at once. So it kind of feels like they're set apart from any kind of album or mini
Yeah.
album or whatever. But yeah, I kind of have like a 6 song thing. I always think in final terms, so I'm like 3 aside. That seems the songs are
That's all you can. You hear me now? Yep. You hear me?
that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think one of them died.
Oh, that
No.
happens to me all the time.
Oh, it's shitting itself here.
I can still hear you fine.
Oh, see, you're gone. Who
I'm
knows?
gone.
But
I can hear you
I can
fine.
hear you. But yeah, mini album at some stage, possibly next year, and then just shows. I just want to play between now and then. So like, if we play and it goes well, then we'll keep doing it. And if it's terrible, then we'll just stop.
Perfect. I think your earpods are telling me it's time to go. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, they're gone. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, man.
dude, absolutely. And best of luck with the single and everything you have coming up.
Cool. I'll maybe see you in Dublin later the year with
Sure.
it.
Yeah, give us a
Yeah.
shout when that's up. Yeah, so I'll know. So, I also
Cool.
still want to take up your invite to go to Gaze Fest in Belfast. By the way, I'm just working
Yeah.
out the logistics of it, but
Awesome.
I'll try and set aside the weekend.
Cool. And Slow Crush as well in Dublin, dude.
Oh yes. Do you want to
Yeah.
put that show actually?
Yeah, I fucking will because I need to people to go to it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I am also putting on, so I've got Gaze Fest Dublin on August 29th, and that's Whitelands, Virgins and Dream Boy. And then I've
That's at
got
the Grand Social, by the way.
Grand Social, yeah, and then I've got Slow Crush in Dublin, August, October 22nd. It's also the Grand Social, and it's Slow Crush, Psalm, and Virgins. And that's in support of their new album that's out at the end of August. So 2 massive shows. They're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them. Yeah, and tickets are selling pretty well for the 2 of them now, which is pretty great. So hopefully it'll be big nights, and yeah, I don't have to go to Mexico after either of them. So,
But what's the Soul Crush show in Belfast? Which venue is that?
so it's October 21st in Black Box, and it's the same lineup. And then I've Gaze Fest in August 30th in Oh Yeah Centre in Belfast as well. So yeah, tickets are only 20 quid to the Slow Crush ones, and Belfast 20 quid for Gaze Fest, and Dublin's 15 for Grand Social. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to that episode of Postburnout.com interviews. We're an independent venture run by yours truly, and as I said at the beginning, liking, rating, subscribing, and sharing really helps us out a lot. If you're feeling extra generous, we do have a PayPal donation link in the episode description, but don't feel obligated, of course. We've also begun releasing occasional exclusive episodes on Spotify, so subscribe there if you'd be interested in hearing those. Thanks again for listening, and see you next time.